And welcome to the Charron Zone. I am super stoked because I have my good friend, Mr. Ron Green, in the virtual house. How's it going, Ron?
Good, buddy. How are you today?
Doing great, doing great. So why don't we just kick it off with letting everybody know what it is you do and a little bit about Ron Green and your company.
Sure. So my company that I've been working on really for the past 2 years is called entertainmentresource.net. And basically what I do is I supply entertainment solutions to the hospitality, gaming, and retail industries. So basically any kind of, corporate branded hospitality venue, whether it's a resort, a hotel, restaurants, or any casinos, or even any retail, corporate branded retail facilities, whether it's a specific property that has multiple retail venues and they want to create some excitement and enhance the guest experience. Basically, that's kind of what I handle. In my previous existence, I was the director of entertainment and atmosphere for Margaritaville Hollywood Beach Resort.
That's where we met.
Yes, that's where we met, and you did a phenomenal job over there, and I'm happy we still have the opportunity to stay in touch and hopefully, work together some more coming into 2021.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, of course. And so what I did over there was really help to create that entertainment department, which had such a robust, not only from a programming and scheduling, perspective, but also from a budgetary perspective. I mean, we had almost $1 million entertainment budget every year that needed to be programmed throughout our property. And there were 8 restaurants and bars on property. And out of those 8 restaurants and bars, about 5 of them did live music anywhere from 5 to 7 nights a week. So we were programming about 20 live performances every week, since we opened, which was back in September of 2015. Just a lot of performances. And the good thing about that is that it gave me an opportunity to really reach out and meet some amazing, incredible, musicians here in South Florida, and make some great friendships like yourself, as well as building an amazing roster of these pre-vetted performers that now I have these relationships with that I can bring to all these other venues and properties that I work with. I think the biggest challenges right now is, people who are really looking to, get great entertainment, whether it's a DJ, a solo performer, a band, multi-genre. It's really having the wherewithal and the knowledge of where to find those people. So the good thing about me is that, my connections bring all that. And, everybody that I kind of work with now is all pre-vetted entertainers who I know, have a certain level of quality of performance, of entertainmentship, if that's even a word. I'm going to start that word.
It's a good word. No, that's
a good word.
It's a word now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And, and I think those are all important things because, when you're presenting entertainment to these venues, especially corporate venues, corporate owned venues, you want to make sure that the quality is definitely there, and people that you're dealing with are professional. They understand the idea of guest experience. They understand the idea of hospitality. So it's not just about going out and performing and being a great performer. There's so many other things that encompass that. So I think that's kind of what I bring to the table now with my company, entertainmentresource.net. And plus, I've been in the entertainment and event industry for over 30 years. I mean, starting in New York, where I had my own entertainment company. I'm a DJ, I'm a drummer, I'm a performer myself. I still DJ. I love engaging guests. I love, making people happy and giving people a good time and really, enhancing that guest experience for people. So I understand the, entertainment psyche, from not only a management and behind the scenes perspective and a production perspective, but also from an entertainer's perspective.
Yep, absolutely. Well, this is a perfect transition right into the first topic that I wanted to go over. So you touched on, you have to find all these and vet all these acts and make sure that they have a certain professionalism and a certain level. And that's a great point. I always say it's one thing to be a good musician, a good drummer or a good bass player, a good good singer, but there's so much more that goes into the total package, and that's being professional and trustworthy and understanding that it's really about the customer. You know, it's not really about how good of a bass solo you can do. It's about the customer, you know. So I wanted to ask you, what are a few things that, you know, that musicians or DJs can do to attract a booking agent, and also maybe a few things that they shouldn't do so that they can attract a booking agent?
Yeah. Well, first off, I mean, the biggest challenge that I find, you know, because a lot of times when I'm working with a lot of these venues, of course, before they get to know me, they want to see, you know, videos, they want to see promo material, they want to see electronic press kits, EPKs, that type of thing. So I would definitely urge very, very strongly for any musician, people who are, you know, trying to get more gigs and trying to, you know, attract booking agents and even going out and trying to sell them themselves, is to really work on their marketing material. Because one thing that I've noticed is you know, marketing material here in South Florida is challenging, to say the least. And it's unfortunate because there's so many great musicians, so many great entertainers, and their marketing material is just not there. And, you know, unfortunately, I don't have, you know, a bankroll of, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce marketing material for these entertainers. So it's really left up to them to really produce things. And the nice thing is, with today's technology, if you, you know, spent a little time and, you know, a fairly minimal budget, I think you could really, you know, gain some great marketing material for yourself. And then that's going to be the first thing that people are going to see. That's going to be the first thing that, you know, whether it's a venue, a property, an owner, a booking agent, anybody who's in the event and entertainment industry, that's the first thing that they're going to see from you. So it's very, very important to have great marketing material. That's probably by far the largest challenge that I have, because a lot of people will post videos on social media platforms of you know, somebody taking a video from a phone. The sound is not there. The quality of the video is not there. And again, it's very, very challenging to try and sell somebody to these venues and these properties without having that, you know, great marketing material. So I would definitely say work probably, if not as hard, or just as hard or harder on really, you know, kind of fine tuning your electronic press kit, your marketing, your promo photos, high res, logos. You know, if you put a nice package together with an EPK, where you have great photos, some great videos, a bio, and also, you know, a great logo, and all in high res, where you have the ability to share that, you know, it's just going to make selling you, you know, a lot better, a lot easier.
You are speaking the gospel. This is, I am constantly teaching this to my students. This is the number one thing. So thank you so much. I want everybody to hear it from somebody else but me, because I'm like a broken record with it. And it is, when you really think about it from a performer's perspective, it's such an inexpensive, extremely powerful investment that we can make in ourselves, because it doesn't have to cost a lot of money. The things that you just laid out, these are really important. A very simple short bio is very important. Not 10 pages, but a simple short bio,
Yeah, to
because
the
people
point.
are going to ask for it. The press photos, I mean, really, so we all probably have a friend that's a photographer that we could, you know, take them out to lunch and say, hey, can you shoot some photos of some really good high res photos? There you would have your press photos. And with the video, it doesn't need to cost a lot of money, like you said. You can get, as long as you have, you probably have a friend that's a videographer, you know, spend a couple $100 on getting a just short and sweet, nice video put together. And then what I want people to understand is that will make you more money for
Of course,
the
it's an
next.
investment into yourself.
Yeah.
It's
So
also like investing in great and good equipment. You know, if your equipment is shoddy, if your equipment is, you know, not really working the best, if it doesn't look great,
yep.
you know, that's also going to impact your performance and your ability to sell yourself. You know, and it's surprising how, so many musicians, really don't, I think they're focused a lot on their musicianship, that they kind of lose track of how their equipment looks, or what they're, how they're perceived from a stage, from a guest standpoint, somebody who's enjoying them. There's people who are very, very picky, and people who have certain, certain levels of quality that they want. I know for me, one of the things is when I'm trying to sell, bands to a specific venue, whether it's a hotel or a casino or something, I always try and upsell, an additional person to come in and handle production, whether it's audio, speakers, that type of thing, because I know the people who are handling the production are going to take care of their audio. It's going to be consistent. A lot of people will spend thousands of dollars on a guitar or on a bass or on a drum kit, but then when they go and spend on speakers, they're going to spend only a couple of $100s to, supply, to provide something that is basically going to, showcase how their sound is. And they're either using very, very old equipment, speakers that are beat up, they don't look good, and in today you can just go out and buy these scrims, these Lycra scrims that you can put over your speakers. They look like brand new. Invest a couple of dollars just to, make your system also look nice. And that's another important thing,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's these things are crucial, and they're all investments. That's a great point. People will spend tons of money throughout their lives and their careers on, drums or new guitars, and, spend a couple $1,000s on a new guitar and all these things. But then, they show up in their presentation, the rest of the presentation looks shoddy. And the worst thing that you can do is, so one of the things that people should definitely avoid
Sorry.
is putting out marketing material that doesn't shine a good light on them. And for example, and nothing against bar bands. I play in bars. I've played in, a bunch of bars myself. But I always tell bands and stuff, if you're putting out video and photos that just don't have the quality of you playing at bars, that is probably going to kill your chances if you are trying to, up your game and play at, bigger events.
Corporate gigs, any of that stuff. Yeah,
festivals.
Sure.
I played a ton of festivals, and I attribute that to getting the content and putting out content of us doing bigger shows and getting better and better content and better, better press photos, and definitely better quality videos on better quality stages and stuff like that. So
no, absolutely. And, again, you can also offer, one of the things that I've seen performers do is, they might offer, let's say a bar or something like that, one night to come in and perform at no cost if they can come in during the day into the bar and shoot a video. You know what I mean? Work on a barter.
You're my new favorite person, because you're preaching what I believe 1,000,000%. Oh my God. The power of doing things for free that will benefit you,
of course,
is business 101. And I just wish
you have to look at the bigger picture.
What's that?
You have to look at the bigger picture. You got to see, what you can do, to kind of, there's plenty of times, even for me as a business owner, if I'm going out to DJ, let's say at a resort, I have a resort that I'm working with right now. And, I kind of just wanted to get my foot in the door to book ultimately more gigs and have a long-term relationship. So, I agreed to come in now and DJ for them during the course of December at their pool for a heavily discounted rate. But now I already booked Christmas Eve, Christmas Day brunch, and not for me, for musicians. I got 2 New Year's Eve gigs, one for me DJing and one for a band from the same venue. And I know that we're already talking into doing a lot of things for 2021. But you know what? Okay, so I'm not getting paid my typical rate. First of all, we're in the middle of a pandemic. So the fact that I'm even working, I'm blessed. Second
Definitely.
of all, I look at the bigger picture. I look at what I can gain from this relationship down the road. So yeah, so right now I'm going to make a little bit extra less money. I'm going to make a little bit less money than I normally would, but it's going to pay off tenfold, down the line, because I know that they're going to book more programming with me, more activations with me. And that's kind of my mentality, going into any of these situations with, any of these prospective partnerships that I'm working with. So it's not always about the money that's available right up front. You got to think long term. You got to build relationships with these people, and you have to be willing to work with them. And you have to be flexible. That's the biggest thing, is you have to be flexible.
Absolutely, 1,000,000%. It's an investment in yourself for the long term. That's a perfect example. I couldn't have said it better myself. So any other things just off the top of your head that either
People
acts?
could do, or you actually asked me about what people shouldn't do.
Yeah.
Which is a good one. So a couple of things that definitely I notice. One thing that turns me off immensely is, first of all, when people are aggressive. When you're aggressive, and there's a very, very fine line between being aggressive and being assertive. And I think people need to know the difference between that. You don't want, when I was at Margaritaville, or even now, because I have things that are going on in this climate of a pandemic, there's constantly entertainers who are reaching out to me and want to get on the roster, and they want to get bookings. And ultimately, I love entertainers. As I said before, I'm an entertainer. I love entertainers. I love, what we're about. I love the fact that we're trying to bring happiness to people and joy through music, or, any other facets. But one of the things that turns me off the biggest is when somebody's aggressive, and I get kind of this negative kind of energy from them. One of the biggest things I would say is, it's okay to be assertive. I would even say, set yourself up. If you're going to follow up with somebody, let's say you're going to reach out to a booking agent, you're going to send them your material. Set yourself an action item to follow up with them in 2 weeks. Set something in your calendar on your phone. 2 weeks from now, follow up with this person if I didn't hear from them. Don't barrage them with emails and, did you get my stuff? You know what I mean? Set
Yes.
yourself some sort of, to be assertive, to follow up with people, because people appreciate the follow up, but don't be aggressive.
Right.
Go ahead.
That I just wanted to jump in. That shouldn't be understated, that people appreciate the follow-up.
Oh, absolutely.
I can tell you that from my career, when I'm looking to hire musicians and things, the people that follow up, I appreciate it, because like you are, I mean, you're probably 1,000 times more inundated with acts and that want to get onto your roster and stuff. But you can't keep track of all that. You can't keep track of all of those people that are trying to contact you. So it's very valuable to you when people follow up. Now, what you're saying is, let's go with the soft follow up.
Let's go with the assertive follow up, not the aggressive.
Yes.
And there is that fine line.
Yeah, I like to call it pinging people. And the thing that I've found in the past few years that has really helped is, just kind of treating it like you're establishing friendships. I think that, I was guilty of this at the beginning of my career. Like, everything was very, I've kept working at being more and more businesslike in my approach, but personally with relationships, I now treat it much more like friends, because you meet people, you work with them, and then you have this relationship with them for years. And I just find it's more fun for me when I start to become more friendly with people than more of a corporate kind of transaction.
You're talking about clients or partnerships.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, listen, even for me, I mean, I can't tell you, of course you don't want to come right off the bat, because you don't know how somebody is going to react, especially when you're dealing in the hospitality industry. And for me, I deal directly with general managers of properties, food and beverage directors, marketing directors. So, you don't know how they're going to react. So you don't want to come at them from a friendly standpoint. You want to kind of build that rapport first. But It's absolutely, it absolutely helps. I mean, I have plenty of partnerships, with high level executives in these corporate, resorts and things. And, we're, whether they're texting me, hey buddy, or hey bud, can you, or, I mean, it doesn't need to be so serious. Plus also we're in the entertainment industry,
Yeah.
we're entertainers. So, there is a certain level of, you want to create a little bit of a relaxed atmosphere, if you will.
Yeah.
And I think, again, it's important to have that balance. You need to be able to have that relaxed kind of attitude, but also in the business acumen, you'll still need to stay very, very business focused, organized, follow-ups, all those types of things. But you can do it in a kind of a more casual way once you build that rapport with
Yeah.
with these people that you're developing partnerships with. So it's definitely important to to kind of keep that kind of cool, chill, atmosphere. And I think also that goes back to, the whole thing about, being aggressive. I think if you're aggressive, you're coming at it from a very kind of, just, it's not really coming from the right place. For you, it might be as a person trying to get the gigs because you're hungry. And, now it's especially even more than ever, with what's going on again with the pandemic. People are really, really trying to, fight tooth and nail to get any gigs that they can. So you just need to kind of watch how you're approaching, whether it's a person that you're going to be working with in a band, or whether it's a person you're going to have a partnership with, or whether it's a business partner, or a client, or however you want to call it. You always want to kind of keep that, even keel, if you will.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dealing with people. Another big thing that I would say that's a huge turnoff for me is when somebody talks bad about somebody else.
Yes.
I had a performer reach out to me yesterday, telling me, they reached out to me. I haven't heard from them in a while. And they basically said, I'm better than anybody that you already have on your roster. And, you should be using me. I don't know why you're not using me, why you're not calling me, and that attitude right off the bat is not going to get you very, very far.
Wow.
I don't prescribe to talking bad about anybody. I think there's enough work, in South Florida for everybody to be busy. And as we approach 2021, and as we get closer to Q3 and Q4 of 2021, I think there's going to even be more possibilities and more potential for things to open up for people to work. So I definitely think that there's, a lot. So you definitely don't want to talk about, you don't want to talk bad about, other people. What you say in your house is your call, but again, you always should keep yourself, kind, keep yourself humble,
Yeah.
keep
I
yourself,
think that's just bad business. You
yeah,
know, it's
because
bad
you don't know who
business.
you're talking to. You
Right.
never know who you're going to talk to. That person who you're saying I'm better than so-and-so, they could be very good friends with that so-and-so. And,
Ron,
and then you're going to ruin your chances.
and that's a little bit insulting to you, right? You're like, well, so so you have this roster of these acts that obviously you believe in, and you're putting them out, hiring them out, and this person's saying, your acts are not as good as, are not that great.
Yeah,
I'm better.
I'm better.
It's a little insulting. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it's just, I think it's the overall kind of, energy. I'm a big, I definitely work a lot on vibe, and I like to meet people. If somebody's looking to me to be on my roster, and somebody that I'm going to refer and recommend to these venues that I work with, first thing I'll do is I'll go see them perform live. First of all, they need to present me with some correct promo material, EPK, so on and so forth. That's going to spark my interest enough for me to go out and go see them perform live.
Yep.
And then once I do go see them perform live, I like to meet them and kind of, see where they're at, and just really get a sense of who they are as a human being. Because for me, it's very important to work with people that I have the like-minded vibe, like-minded energy.
Yep.
And I think that's also important, to be able to, work with people and surround yourself with people that are positive and have a good energy. And, those are the people that I'd rather work with. If I know, I can't tell you how many bands I turned away from, when we auditioned people for Margaritaville, how many bands I turned away from because of just, bad attitude, kind of diva attitude. People were like, well, I've been performing in South Florida for 20 years. I don't feel like I need to audition. That's fine. You won't work. That's the attitude. I think
Yep.
you need to remain humble. You need to remain kind. You need to remain positive. And I think, unfortunately, and I can say this because I know as an entertainer myself how crazy entertainers are and how we live inside of our own brain. And
Yeah.
we have this kind of, this, psyche. That's why we're in this field, because I think not only do we enjoy giving our gift to the world and making people feel good, but it's also that kind of instant satisfaction, that gratification that we get from the applause and the people really wanting to, see us and getting that enjoyment that we're giving to them. So I think it's very important for, people to remain, humble, kind, don't ever lose track of that. I think that's a very, very important thing.
Absolutely amazing, amazing, spot on advice. I just wanted to add one thing that I don't think is really talked about specifically is that I think a lot of times what we are doing, like when you're considering somebody for your roster or as an entertainer, I'm looking to hire musicians or things like that, is we're looking to establish can I trust this person? Can I trust this act? You're looking to establish trust in that person that on your side, they have a certain level of professionalism. They're going to do the job. They're not going to do X, Y, and Z. They're going to do, A, B, and C. And just the overall making sure that you can trust that person professionally. And
Of course, you want to make sure also that, listen, I have a strict no drinking policy,
me too.
on my gigs.
Yep.
If I book somebody there's no drinking allowed. You could do, whatever you want to do after the gig, but there's no drinking, allowed at the gigs. I also have, typically pre-COVID, I had a pretty strict no tipping policy as far as, and when I say no tipping, I mean, I don't necessarily like to see a tip jar on the front of the stage, or somebody soliciting for tips over the phone, over the microphone, or if somebody comes over and says, hey, can you play this song? It's for me and my wife. It's our anniversary. It's our, wedding song. Can you play it for me? As long as you're not going and saying, yeah, that'll cost you $10. I
Yeah.
think the payoff in the end will be a lot more if you just say, of course I'll play it for you, and you do something for them. They're going to come over and tip you anyway.
Right.
But, I think it kind of, especially when people are paying these partnerships that I have, when they're paying, premium price to be able to have these great quality entertainers, the last thing you want to have is somebody who's kind of soliciting for tips or put a tip jar out in front, and it just kind of looks a little cheesy.
I
I don't
agree.
have a problem, again, especially now during COVID, because budgets have been severely reduced based on capacities of venues. So a lot of the venues that I'm talking to now, I'll say, listen, I can get you guys a performer at a reduced rate, but at least let them collect tips.
Yep.
Whereas before, I was a little bit more strict on that. But I think now, if there's a way for them to get a little bit more supplemental income from getting the tips, to add to their, their pay, I have no problem with that. And typically most venues are okay with it for right now, until things, start to open up.
So you're being very flexible and adapting, which is a perfect segue into, I wanted to talk to you about, we talked about it a little bit yesterday. Acts, DJs, musicians, being during this time, being creative and adapting. If you could just talk a little bit about that, between, being flexible and fluid on your rates and live streaming, and if you could just touch on that a little bit, like what things you're doing with your company. And I know that you guys have been doing some events, so some very impressive events, by the way. I saw it. Was it in Dania Point?
Dania Point, yeah. We did a live, a 2-day drive-in concert for a holiday drive-in concert where, basically what I did was I brought a Trans-Siberian Orchestra tribute band in from St. Louis. They're phenomenal. They're called The Prophecy. And we brought them in for a 2-day concert back-to-back on a Saturday and Sunday night, at the beginning of December. It was the 5th and the 6th. And we had an amazing turnout, did a full-on production. With
beautiful stage.
LED walls. Oh, beautiful stage, amazing. And it was a phenomenal, a phenomenal experience for the guests who came. And really, from our standpoint, it really wasn't to drive revenue to the venue. I mean, they charged the cars. They charged the cars. I think it was like $40 a car to come in. But for the most part, it was really to recoup a couple of dollars, based on what their spend was. But I think the main focus was really to drive brand recognition for the property and to get people into not only come and enjoy the concert, but then after the concert was over, to go and spend money at the restaurants, that are in Dania Point, and, hopefully go shopping and do things like that. And from what I understand, there definitely was a bump in sales, in food and beverage sales, during the evenings of the concerts throughout the property. So that's one thing we did. Another thing I did was with the Galleria Mall in Fort Lauderdale, we did a live streaming happy hour, which you were involved with as well, where we actually brought in, duos for a series of live streaming happy hours, where we had like a bartender from one of the venues, whether it was Seasons 52 or Capitol Grill, come in, open up the segment with, a cocktail, a signature cocktail, doing this live streaming. And then we had basically the happy hour where the performers would perform live on the Facebook social media platform for the Galleria Mall. Another thing I did personally, once this whole COVID craziness happened, was I created a stay-at-home battle of the bands, which I took out money. I took money out of my own pocket, really, and created this, again, not a huge amount of money, but, I put $1,000 in, and we created this, this battle of the bands. And we basically opened it up to, nationally, really internationally, and, requested people to submit their videos and create videos. And basically it was voted on by likes on social media platforms. And then whoever got the most likes after the different rounds ultimately won. And, for me, it was about a couple of different things. Number one was to be able to give back to the music community, the entertainment community, which was important to me because I knew there were going to be so many people that were going to be impacted. So if I could assist one person, with giving them a couple of extra dollars, and, having them, help them a little bit, whether they pay their bills or whatever the case is, that was my, my main objective. But also what I did get, out of that as well was again, the brand recognition for my company, because we ran everything through my, my business's social media platforms. So of course I gained more likes, which was great as well. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of twofold. We did something to give back to the community, to build brand recognition and keep people engaged, which I think is important also. It's another important thing to keep your brand relevant. And when I say brand, you don't have to have a business to be a brand. Tim Charron is a brand. Ron G is a brand. There's all these musicians out there. There are these bands that are out there, amazing bands. That's your brand. Do everything you can to continue building that and stay relevant in this time, because people are on social media like never before, because they're sitting home, they're afraid to go out. So continue plugging your brand, even if it's, doing, an hour a day on Instagram or 15 minutes a day on any of these social media platforms where you're engaging with your followers to keep your brand relevant, and hopefully gain more, more followers to that. Because in today's day and age, people are very, very interested. I'm getting all these notifications. I'm sorry. I thought I shut off my phone. So in today's day and age, especially with, the challenges that we face, a lot of venues are asking, well, if I supply this performer here at my venue, are they going to be able to bring, people? Are they going to be able to bring guests? And I don't mean guests where, people are going to be guests of the performer, but are they going to, by the performer being there, is that going to drive revenue? So they want to see on social media, how many followers does this person have?
Yep.
Now I do tell all of my clients that I'm not a marketing person. I'm not a PR person specifically. Mm-hmm. I'll do everything I can to assist with the marketing. If they provide me with digital collateral, if they provide me with things for a specific event, I'm going to have myself, my business, my marketing people, the performer, everybody's going to do everything they can to try and drive business to that event, that activation. But it's really up to the venue to market it. You can spend $10,000 on an incredible band for a venue. Mm-hmm. If the venue is not assisting in marketing it, and people don't know about it, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
So it's important not only to put marketing numbers behind the activations that are happening, but it's also important to, to let people know that that's happening. And then another thing is also you want to have things on a consistent basis. So typically when I'm trying to sell, let's say for instance, a wind down Wednesday with a keyboard player in a hotel lobby bar,
Hmm.
and we're doing, an activation or an event that's going to happen on Wednesdays, I tell all of the clients or all of my partners that we need to give it a minimum of 3 months to capture any kind of traction, at
Yep.
least a minimum of 90 days. So that way people start to know that it's happening. It becomes a regular thing. And, I like to utilize the same performers for that, because I think people will start to feel comfortable. They'll know this specific performer is performing on this date in this location. They're going to start building that following, and they're going to start generating revenue for the venue. I know that's kind of going a little off of what we started talking about
Well,
what people can
it
do.
makes total sense, because you want the consistency. So many more people are at home, which means they are online, and they are, the people that are online, they need you to have that consistency as well. Whether it's doing a weekly event, or as a
Mm-hmm.
performer, just doing, you're going live. I think going live on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube is the ultimate secret weapon that I don't think people are even utilizing enough, even though it seems like everybody is doing it, if that makes any sense. But
Yeah, listen, no, I agree with you. I think, listen, again, it's all about building your brand. And right now, it's
exactly.
not costing you any money to go
Yep.
on social media and perform for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, take requests, doing a request show. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean?
And what
Engage
that
your
does is
followers.
absolutely 1,000,000% engaging people on your lives is the secret sauce. And that's what it works for me when I'm watching someone on a live and I make a comment and they say my name and they talk to me. I get all
Yeah,
excited, and it makes me stay on
of
that
course.
live. It makes me, have a lot more of a
Connection.
connection. Exactly.
Absolutely.
So,
100%.
and what people underestimate, I believe, is what you were saying is you want your brand to be on the top of people's mind, through this whole thing. So bopping onto social media and doing a live, whether it's just a question and answer, or, hey, look, I'm cooking spaghetti, or playing songs, the more people see that live notification and just see your face on there, the more brand recognition you are getting. So I think it's just an invaluable tool that people can use right now while people are just transfixed online.
Absolutely, 100%. Another thing I would suggest to people is, speaking about being online and being on social media, you have to understand that, if you're a musician and you're looking for work and you're a professional musician, or you're a weekend musician,
Mm-hmm.
you have to understand that, people are always looking at you. So my mind frame is that I am always focused on how perception is of what I'm putting out on social media. I've realized, especially over the past year since we've been going through this COVID thing, the power of social media, because perception is reality. And I have Facebook, I have Instagram, I have LinkedIn. I don't really do Twitter, but and honestly, I would say, first of all, Instagram, 100% of it is business. I don't even have a personal Instagram account.
Mm-hmm.
My only Instagram account is my business account. My LinkedIn, I have a business account and I have a personal account, but both of them are focused on business only.
Mm-hmm.
And Facebook also. Facebook, I would say probably 98% of it is business and networking through business. And I have a business page on LinkedIn also, but even my personal page is mostly about me sharing stuff from my business page, or a couple of little things here with my daughter that some fun family personal stuff that I like to do. But I would say 98% of it is business. And I think people have to, anybody who's looking at you is a potential client. So if you're posting crazy things out there, if you're cursing, if you're posting provocative, again, it's your personal thing. You can do whatever you want. This is just my opinion. This is only one guy's opinion, mine. If you're out there and you're posting, you may lose, possible clients because of what you post. Now, that may not make a difference to you. That's up to you. It's totally fine, but again, from my perspective, I only try and post things. I try to be very, very middle of the ground. I try not to get involved in politics. I try not to talk bad about anybody. I try not
Amen.
to post anything that's going to be provocative, or even when I'm commenting on friends' posts or things of that nature, I'm very, very careful to, make sure I don't post anything that would offend anybody or do anything, because you never know who is going to be looking, who is thinking about hiring you, and they may not hire you. And I know it's a lot to take in, but I think I've kind of prepped myself, because I've been in the business for so long and I've been a business owner for so long, that even when I'm out in public, and I'm online at a food place, I even, am conscious of, what I say in public or
Oh
how I
yeah.
act in public, because you never know who's there. You never know who you're talking to. You never know. This could be a potential client. This could be somebody who knows somebody who's a client. You know what I mean? So you always got to kind of, I'm not saying walk around being paranoid. I'm just saying, if you are serious about being a professional musician, a professional entertainer, a professional business person, you always want to really kind of have in the back of your mind how you are presenting yourself to the outside world.
1,000,000%. Thank you for saying all of this. This is absolutely invaluable. And I subscribe to the same exact um, theory. I stay far away from anything like politics or just things that will get people, you know, it's weird because, people that do put that stuff out, they'll get a bunch of people commenting and they'll get a bunch of eyeballs on it and they think that that is good. And I just think like you said, if you are serious about your business and if your business is music, and you're serious about it, if you're doing these things, you could really be hurting your business. I mean, you most likely are hurting your business. And if you stay away from those things, then it's only going to help your business.
Yeah, I mean, listen, again, you can say we live in this country because of the beauty of freedom of speech.
Mhm.
You could say whatever you want. You can go online, you can post, you can do, anything. Again, I'm not saying what you should or shouldn't do. I'm just giving you my opinion, from a person who's owned a business for so many years, and, who is in this kind of business where we're in the people business.
Yep.
We are about connecting with people. If we were sitting in an office job in a cubicle somewhere, just filing, papers and, typing on a computer all day, all good. But if you're in the people business and you're constantly coming into contact with large numbers of people, especially if you're a musician, if you're an entertainer, and you're meeting people, you always want to make sure that you're not giving people, especially if you want to be successful, I think you don't want to give people an opportunity to, especially when you're just getting started. Listen, when you get to a certain degree and you have a platform and, people say what they want to say, whether you're a big movie star or whatever the case is, once you get to that level and you're making those millions of dollars,
Yeah.
do what you want. But
Yeah.
I like to prescribe to kind of being in the middle. I
Yeah.
like to be middle ground. I like to not rock the boat. I like to, keep my personal feelings and personal opinions to myself, because again, for me, it's more important, the bigger picture of my brand and my business and me developing these partnerships. And I think that as long as I don't give any kind of opportunity for people to say, well, I don't know if I want to work with Ron because he subscribes to this philosophy, or he is a big believer in this, or, just be middle of the road. Again, what you do in the privacy of your home, or what you do with your friends or your family, is all good. But the persona that you're putting out to the world, you want to make sure that you're thinking of it from a professional standpoint. And, the only thing that's going to do is help you, gain more followers, gain more business, have you become more successful. Again, that's just what I think. And it's important, again, as I said, to really, really stay humble, stay positive. It's very difficult right now. I can only imagine, how difficult it is for people, especially in our business, in
Mhm.
the entertainment and music business, with, what's been happening over the past, 10 months. And, it's very, very difficult to remain positive. I can totally understand that. But I think, this is where the time where we really need to, dig deep into our, souls, and, kind of present to the world the reason why we do what we do, which is to make people feel good and make people happy and create, oh, excuse me, to create this kind of, level of escapism from people.
Yes.
One of the things that we want to do from being a performer is you want to give people an opportunity to escape.
Yep.
That's why entertainment is so successful, because people want to escape their, what's going on, all the craziness in life. And if you have that opportunity to provide that for people, you will be successful. And also, just again, be a good person,
Yeah.
just be a good person. Don't be a dick, be a good person, be compassionate, be empathetic, be kind, help people. It's not only always about what can I get out of it. It's about, helping people, because I'm a huge
Yeah.
believer in karma. I like to help people, not for the reason of it's going to come back to me, but I just like to help people because that's just who I am. It makes me feel good to help people. It makes me feel good to provide opportunities for amazing musicians and amazing entertainers to have a platform to perform for people, and to give people an amazing, incredible guest experience for whatever venue they're going to, and whatever place they're sharing with, they're frequenting.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. There's nothing better than providing an hour or two or three for people to um, just have a great time and laugh and smile and sing, or whatever the event entails, and just forget their worries for 2 or 3 hours, and just provide that to people. Is, yeah, to me, that's part of why I do it. It's invaluable. And if you love doing that for people, then you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. And that's the thing for me, is that I'm so passionate about what I do. I have
Yeah.
such a love for not only people and entertainment and entertainers. um, as I said, I think we're a very, very special breed, and I think we're put on this earth to bring joy and happiness to people. Unfortunately, it comes with our own psychological challenges, and our own mental challenges in our own brains. But I think if you look at the bigger picture of why we have this gift of what we can bring to people, and you really let other people see that and see that passion and feel that love, you're going to be successful, and you're going to make it through this tough time. And again, it's just about being positive, because I definitely see, from my experience, I've been very, very fortunate to not only work through this pandemic, but also to have my company, strive, uh, you know, uh, looking into 2021 and 2022, and really, the people that I've been staying in touch with and building partnerships and following up and being assertive, is really going to pay off. And I really, really think that if people just hold on a little bit longer, I think that we're really looking to a phenomenal, Q2, Q3, Q4 of 2021, where it's going to probably be bigger than it was after Prohibition, about people going out and partying and having a good time. And we're going to need entertainment for that. There's going to be places that are just going to be dying for great entertainers and great entertainment. So as long as I think you keep yourself grounded, you keep yourself humble, you keep yourself kind, keep focusing on your craft, keep engaging your followers, keep building your brand, you'll be successful.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'd love to just end on that, because I think that's the sentiment that um, both you and I want to get across to people, that um, eventually things are going to open up, and hopefully sooner than later. But now is the time to be doing all the things that you just laid out, because when it does open up, you put it perfectly. It's going to be bigger than, post prohibition. Uh, it's going to be an explosion of events and people just wanting to let off steam, and we are all going to be very busy. But now is the time to do what you are doing, and staying on top of things, working on your craft, staying persistent, staying in people's lives, staying in people's inboxes, pinging people. And I like to do things like, I just talked to a college booking agent this morning that I was working with before all this happened, and something happened with him on Facebook. This is going on a total tangent, but and so I texted him and made sure, just like, hey, I'm thinking about you because something happened with one of his pets. And so he called me, and we just had a great long conversation. And everybody's going through stuff, so I think it's a good idea to just keep in contact with people, because once things open up, the people that are on the top of the other people's minds are going to be the people that we're all working with and working together to take advantage of the incredible opportunities that are going to be presented once things finally open back up.
No, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and again, it's I literally see, light at the end of the tunnel, and it looks like it's going to be sooner than later, which is good. So just remain positive,
Yep.
remain caring, remain loving, remain focused, remain passionate, and things will definitely turn around, and things will be better for sure. It's around the corner.
Yep. Amen. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Ron Green, so much. I really appreciate it. I know for a fact that everybody listening and watching, they're going to get a lot out of this. So I really
Awesome.
appreciate you taking the time to come on.
Yeah, my pleasure. And listen, I don't mind. I hope you don't mind if I do a little plug. I'm always looking for more followers. So if you go to Instagram, it's entertainment_resource is my company. That's the logo right there. I don't know, it's probably backwards, but there's the company logo. So if you can follow me, I'm always posting cool stuff on Instagram, also on Facebook. And feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn as well, Ron Green. Listen, I want to wish everybody a happy and a healthy holiday season. All the best to you and your families, and keep being positive. I think that's the biggest thing that I can tell people is just be positive, and again, be loving, and all those things that we mentioned, and things will be great.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ron. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. All the best to you, man.